Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. Today we'll be doing a hand with fingers closed, so something like that. Now, it is not a very common gesture in the sense of using it in illustrations, but it could be handy, and you could also Google images and do try this out. It's essential practice of drawing anatomy. So we are doing it in one go here in the video. So what we're doing is using very light strokes, and in the light strokes the sense is that if there is a mistake, and there are likely to be mistakes when we're doing a video as this one, so you can erase them and we could rectify them without leaving too much of a mark. So that shape will suffice for to begin, and we just come down something like that. So the reason why I've put in this kind of, you could also put in an oval to start, but if let's say that we put in an oval nice and big, and then in the oval you could go like this. So if you put that shape in, it'll just help to finish off this little exercise faster. So I'm doing the left hand, so it's kind of like that, and let's try to do this in an as easy manner as possible. So 1, 2, and 3. Now we are bringing them, all the fingers together and even the thumb together, so there will be a lot of contraction of the skin. There'll be a lot of skin folds coming into effect, and that's the way the hand works. So this is the index finger on the outside, and we're bringing it inward, and I have just from that shape outside, I've let that go, and I've brought the finger inward a little bit. So the first thing that we can do is put the thumb out right away. So just putting in a typical thumb shape, and again we have mentioned this in other videos that focus on the anatomy of the hand. If we can do sausages for our digits of the hand. So 1, 2, then you could draw over them and let it come together like that. And then there's the skin folds, thumb folds in this case, sorry, or thumb lines. Nail will land somewhere around here. Okay, no skin folds on the outer side here. Just going into the wrist area, and there's the huge set of skin folds coming in play, and these can be made more elaborate. And then so the hand itself is also curled, so it's like that. So this skin fold, depending on, so what we're doing is we're doing an angle like that. So looking at it from a more generic and straightforward angle, so this skin fold goes up here somewhere, and that is very a tight skin fold, slightly lesser one here, and we work the fleshier part of the hand, the butt of the hand, like that, and then the skin folds depending on the hand that we are basing the sketch on. The skin folds and all the other details will vary. So now the task is to bring the fingers together. So we could always start again with the digits. So 1, 2 actually, because there's some foreshortening here and they're not like stretched out like that, so there's foreshortening. There's the skin fold that will lead into the index finger, and skin the finger line here, inner finger line here, and that is the index finger. Usually it appears like that. And then we have to bring in the smallest finger inward. So we can go 1, 2. In fact, I'm going to bring the apparatus inward a little bit. So as I said, that we have to keep the lines very, very thin. So 1, 2 sausages coming into play there for the smallest finger. 1, 2, and 3. The other main skin fold, this one, coming in around here. And of course there's foreshortening, and the smallest finger comes into play, and that is the outside of the hand. I'm going to get rid of some excess framework lines here so that we could see this a little more clearly, and also chart the changes that we have made going further into the exercise. So we have the thumb. Another line here will bring more accuracy to this. So we have the thumb, the small finger, and then we put in the finger that is second largest in the hand, mostly anyways, that's how it is. So the second largest finger, again, so let's imagine sausages, 1, 2, and 3, and then the tallest finger, most likely ending here. And if we imagine that, 1, 2, and 3 sausages for that too, but we can do without them and just like concentrate on this, because when we go to the next part of the exercise, that is putting in some tones, and let's imagine that there's a light source that is coming on, like coming from right from above, and we need to put in some tones here and shadows. So we're going to grab myself a slightly more heftier point for this. So around the bulges and the compressions, there will be some shadows coming into play on each finger, even alongside the thumb here, because, and once again we should get rid of some straight lines so that this next part, which is very essential to get this illustration going, can come into play properly. We could leave the main demarcating lines there for those two fingers, and then come right back to the tones. So tones there, tones setting in a bit here. Okay, so far so good. Let's move this up here. Okay, and then these are more prominent here. Darker tones here. Darker tone, most likely a darker tone here, a bit of tone here just to reflect that little curvature in the thumb, and around here slighter tones, darker tones here around the bulge of the hand, lighter tones here. These go into the wrist. Depending again on what the placement of what the angle is what angle is acquired with the placement of the hand and the light source, these tones will actually vary, but the rule of thumb is that we put into shading any areas that are away from the source of light or where the light fails to fall. Right here it'll be darkest, because there's like shadows like falling from all over, top, left, right. You can make them denser here, and right here there will be shadows falling as well. Of course you could fade them out. Right here, like going upward, you could fade them out, and we could try to make sure that certain areas are more in tone than others. For instance, right around the separations of the fingers here, this can be deeper too. And then of course going into the flesh of the hand, these fingers that are casting a shadow right here, so these fingers will throw in some kind of tone right around here, and we keep working our way. You could also consolidate the tone here, but if you keep it as separate as possible between the different skin folds, it makes for a little more believable and better exercise. So we have to keep in mind that this is a quick sketch, and if we take our time, we can put in a lot of character into this, in the sense that the different skin folds which cast their own impressions, and the different curvatures, the bulges, each contributing to the richness of the appearance of a hand. They really work best if time is taken and then the illustration is completed by looking at each little detail in this kind of illustration, because this could actually be an illustration by itself instead of being part of a bigger project. So please do try it out. Google images as well, and let us have your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, keep in touch. Have yourself a wonderful day.